Imagine venturing into the mysterious depths of the sea, engulfed by the frigid darkness that envelops you. As you dive deeper, the familiar world above slowly fades away, giving way to a captivating realm full of untold wonders. Suddenly, a colossal face emerges from the watery shadows. Or you stumble upon a curious monolith with ancient inscriptions whispering forgotten tales of a lost prehistoric civilization. This isn't a gripping scene plucked from a science fiction or horror blockbuster on Netflix, but rather an extraordinary first-hand account of a team of audacious archaeologists who embarked on a remarkable expedition in the mystical Bay of Aboukir back in 2000, where they unearthed a long-lost Egyptian city that had been incredibly preserved beneath the water. It is a city shrouded in mystery, swallowed by the Mediterranean Sea, and buried in the sand for more than 1,200 years. From its profound historical significance to its enigmatic disappearance and, finally, its miraculous discovery, join us as we delve into the true story of one of the most awe-inspiring underwater archaeological findings of our time, the lost city of Herakleion. Known as Herakleion to the ancient Greeks and Thonis to the ancient Egyptians, the city was located near the mouth of the Canopic branch of the Nile River, in what is now the Aboukir Bay off the coast of Egypt. The exact founding date of Herakleion is not well known, but it is believed to have been established around the 8th century BCE. Before Alexandria was even a glimmer in Alexander the Great's eye, Herakleion enjoyed its glory days as it served as the main port of entry into Egypt for the many ships arriving from all over the Greek world. This city was originally built on some adjoining islands in the Nile Delta. It was intersected by canals with several separate harbors and anchorages. Its wharves, fantastic temples, and tower houses were linked by ferries, bridges, and pontoons. Herakleion was an emporium or trading port, and in the late period of ancient Egypt, it was the country's main port of international commerce between Egypt and other Mediterranean civilizations, including Greece. The city also served as a vital hub for the collection of taxes and fees by officials. Herakleion was dedicated to the ancient Egyptian god Amun and the Greek god Heracles. The city boasted grand temples, palaces, and a vast harbor that could accommodate large ships. It thrived economically and culturally, attracting traders and travelers from various civilizations. Thonis had a large temple of Khonsu, son of Amun, who was known to the Greeks as Heracles or Hercules. Later, the worship of Amun became more prominent. When the city was at its peak between the 6th and 4th centuries BC, an enormous temple dedicated to Amun-Gareb, the supreme god of Egypt at the time, was located in the middle of the city. Built around this grand temple, the city was crisscrossed with a network of canals, a kind of ancient Egyptian Venice, and its islands were home to small sanctuaries and homes. Not only was Herakleion a bustling city for welcoming ships and travelers from various parts of the ancient world, but it was also an important religious center of worship. The city was the site of the celebration of the mysteries of Osiris each year during the month of Khoiayak. These spectacular ceremonies involved the statue of the god transported in his ceremonial boat as it processed from the temple of Amun to his shrine in Canopus. 16-foot stone sculptures and sarcophagi believed to contain mummified animals were discovered, which reinforces the idea that this divine city was a prominent religious site. It's just shocking to think that a flourishing city like Herakleion could disappear without a trace, submerged beneath the ocean, never to be witnessed again. However, that's exactly what happened around 1,200 years ago. How could such an extraordinary event take place? Once a grand metropolis, this city now exists shrouded in mystery, with its history mostly unknown, and the exact sequence of events that led to its disappearance remains uncertain. According to reputable theories and research findings, it is believed that the site experienced significant geological and cataclysmic phenomena. Over time, the city was weakened by a combination of earthquakes, tsunamis, and rising sea levels. At the end of the 2nd century BCE, probably after a severe flood, the ground on which the central island of Herakleion was built succumbed to soil liquefaction. Earthquakes could have also contributed to this liquefaction. Moreover, earth tremors and tidal waves were reported by ancient historians during the time of the city's submersion. The fact that the soil around the southeastern basin of the Mediterranean is prone to liquefaction accounts for everything. The hard clay turned rapidly into a liquid and the buildings collapsed into the water. Herakleion was left relatively undisturbed beneath the sea floor for 1,200 years. The sand and other debris covered the remains of the city and made accidental discovery unlikely. This kept Thonis Herakleion preserved. Looters and unsuspecting humans did not have the chance to deteriorate the city's remains. After its burial, Herakleion faded from the public mind and almost vanished. The city of Alexandria superseded Herakleion as Egypt's primary port. Many believed that the lost city had stood on Egypt's mainland. Some even doubted its very existence. Then, at the turn of this century, the sea decided to give up one of its highly prized treasures. In 2000, after 13 years of excavations in the vast area of Abu Qir Bay, what was previously regarded as a legend whispered in quiet tones through ancient inscriptions and sacred texts emerged triumphantly, exceeding the boundaries of imagination to conquer reality itself. A team from the European Institute for Underwater Archaeology, IEASM, led by French underwater archaeologist Frank Godiot, saw a colossal face emerge from the dark depths of the sea, around 30 feet beneath the water's surface. 64 ancient shipwrecks and more than 700 anchors have been unearthed from the mud of the bay. The high number of maritime relics led researchers to believe that Herakleion was a bustling port of entry for trade between the Nile and the Mediterranean. Other findings include gold coins, weights from Athens, which have never before been found at an Egyptian site, and giant tablets inscribed in ancient Greek and ancient Egyptian. Numerous religious artifacts have been also uncovered within the sunken city, including 16-foot stone sculptures thought to have decorated the city's central temple, and limestone sarcophagi that are believed to have contained mummified animals. Experts have marveled at the variety of artifacts found and have been equally impressed by how well preserved they are. During the team's 2021 mission, archaeological treasures, including Greek ceramics and 2,400-year-old wicker baskets filled with fruit, have been discovered at the site of the Thonis Herakleion. Along the northeast entrance canal of the submerged city, the remains of a large tumulus, which is a Greek funerary area, were found. The tumulus is about 60 meters long and 8 meters wide and looks like a kind of island surrounded by channels. It was covered with sumptuous funerary offerings such as imported luxury Greek ceramics dating back to the beginning of the 4th century BCE. That year, IEASM also announced the excavation of a rare Ptolemaic galley. The galley measures 25 meters in length and features classic mortise and tenon joints alongside more Egyptian features, such as a flat-bottomed construction favorable for navigating the Nile and the Nile Delta. This ancient warship was trapped in the sunken city under heavy materials that fell from the crumbling buildings during the catastrophes that caused its destruction. Other priceless treasures Godiot is responsible for discovering and showing to the modern world include part of the temple dictated to Amun, a colossal red granite statue of the fertility god Hapi, and a bronze statue of the god Osiris. All these artifacts are found today in the Grand Egyptian Museum in Cairo. Godiot believes that there is much left to excavate at Thonis Herakleion. This provides a lot of potential for more discoveries of important artifacts and remains of the city. Who knows what new knowledge could emerge from the ongoing surveys and excavations? Countless lives were lost, the equivalent of hundreds of millions of dollars were destroyed, and an entire population, an entire livelihood, fell into the shadows of the sea forever. This all happened the day that Herakleion became submerged. For centuries, the famous lost city straddled the line between legend and reality. Only a few scripts suggested its possible existence, but now, thanks to Godiot and his team, we have the answers we need. The lost city, after so long, has been found. Treasures recovered from the excavations illustrate Herakleion's beauty and glory, the magnificence of its grand temples, and the abundance of historical evidence of a civilization frozen in time. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.